My name is Gitta Zimmermann and I'm a trainer for nonviolent communication. I've been organizing NVC workshops here in Ruhpolding, Germany for 15 years now. My heart is beating for children and I want to give them a voice. And that's why I call the whole series here First Call for Children. I invite people who work with children in their home countries. Social workers, medical doctors, priests and bishops, kindergarten and school teachers, their directors, leader of an orphanage and youth association. Throughout the years, the NVC Ruhpolding family has grown, a network that is alive in many places of the world. The members exchange experiences, ideas and concepts or advices when requested and are empathic with each other. A real NVC family. Now we are going to spend 10 days here together, sharing, learning, experiencing nonviolent communication and try to live in the awareness and the power of NVC.
And I'm burning for peace, and I'm burning also just to fly and have all the dreams materialized for all the children that we cater to.
I work with non-formally educated women all over the world, specifically women living in rural areas. I burn to ensure that their aspirations, their agency, their leadership development skills come forth, and with that they're able to add joy not just into the lives of their communities but their own personal lives as well.
I am burning for stories, compassion and empathy, and maybe over coffee.
I'm wishing for it, that children not get stressed by all the desires and obligation of our adults, but explore, play their strength, their talent.
In NVC it says connection for action.
To amplify girls' voices and to see them have agency and resilience and be the girls they see in the mirror and not what the society says they should be.
I see the 2 socks on the ground and I'm frustrated because I love some order. Would you please take off the socks from the ground? Is this NVC? Most of the participants know already about NVC. They exchange, deepen their knowledge and they take home new tools in NVC. It looks like NVC, it sounds like NVC. For me it's not NVC because I'm in a demanding energy. Take off the socks, you are selfish. What's below it? And speaking NVC does not make the world less violent because it's the real awareness behind it and my attitude. How did I get the idea of these workshops? One day I met a Catholic priest who's working on the Philippines with people who live on dump sites. And I asked him, how about bringing NVC to these people as well? So I invited participants who are working with these people to come to Germany, and that was in 2007. And this one workshop in which we were working only with people from the Philippines is the core from where more workshops developed, in which we now invite people from other countries like India and many African countries, and they all have one in common: working with children. This is just the surface we are touching now with the socks, and then I can go deeper. When I see the socks laying on the ground, maybe I'm frustrated because I love to be supported. And then I start to connect. So you can see, from the socks I go step by step deeper. What is really my need below this socks on the top of the iceberg? In my generation, it was not usual to talk about needs. I didn't even know about empathy or self-empathy. And now I see the treasure in it. My dream is that children become aware of their needs and express them without being judged, and that they are empathic with themselves and others. I just want to share that you manage the Arche Noah house and that you are living there and taking care of 18 children now who are educated or accompanied in the awareness of NVC. But whatever you want to share now about a situation which is dear to you, an aha effect, maybe you just do.
I think one of the aha moment was when they already learned about, requesting honestly, the honest expression. So coming from different religions, beliefs, and culture, they usually eat with separate prayers. The Muslims would pray differently, and then the Christians would pray differently. But then one time, one of them said, we want to ask if there's a possibility that maybe we could make a prayer, like a universal prayer that would apply to both Muslims and Christians. Yeah, so we could pray together, like not individually, and then there's no need to do the sign of the cross or anything, but just, pray together before eating. They need equality and they need inclusion and belongingness. So I think that would always be my aha moment.
If I am upset, I am hurt, then it is very difficult to give empathy to others. And that time when I was in India, I called Gita and I said I am not well. And then she makes me to understand self-empathy. And it was amazing. Like, first time I came to know that I can heal my wounds my own. I don't need anybody. And it was like, aha. And it worked very well.
And when I try to be empathic with others and we hit the point, get the need, then there is something going on. That's it.
In my mind, I always wanted to be better, to do better. Mm-hmm. I did not like it when I talked in a way that people labeled me rude. And I thought I was doing it the right way. That's the only way I knew. I wanted to do it better. So when I came to NVC, I was like, this is what I was looking for.
NVC will unfold the beauty if you really go into your heart and come out of your head. And participants are telling me about their changes with NVC. For example, that long-lasting conflicts are resolved now.
From the time I got married, I had never had a positive relationship with my mother-in-law. She's always blaming, judging, and even when it's something done by my child, she really, really gets mad and blames me and judges me. Sometimes she confronts me face to face. And it always made me feel very sad, but I did not have the courage to tell her how I feel. So this July when we visited, she just woke up one morning and sent me a very long message blaming me of how I'm a bad parent. At first I read the message and I was so heartbroken and so angry. In my head I was like, who is she to tell me how I should raise my children? I also know how to raise my own children. And then I showed the message to my husband, who wanted to storm out of the door and go to her. And I told him, no, I've got this. And he looked at me, he's like, you? I'm like, yeah. So I composed myself and I asked myself, what are my needs? I need to be understood, I need to be supported, and I need clarity of what she really wants from me. And so I also asked myself that behind all this judgment and blaming, there must be a need also from her side. And I found that she also needs understanding, she needs safety for her grandchildren, and she also needs clarity that her grandchildren are growing to be independent and also good people. So I went to her. And she was really ready to fire back. And I told her, do you have a minute to speak? She said yes. So I sat down with her and I told her that I see your need for your grandchildren to be safe, to be independent. I told her the things that I had observed. And she looked at me like, and so I kept talking. And then later she explained, yes, I really want my children to be safe. I don't like the way you shout at them. And she was correct. I have been very rude and sometimes I've spanked my children, but it's not because I wanted to. It's how the only way I've known. I've been raised that way. I grew up being spanked all the time. And I'm trying. And I know that I'll get there. I'm not a violent person and I don't want to be violent with my children. And I want to keep them safe. I explained all the things and she looked at me and she started crying and she told me, I'm so sorry for the way I've been treating you. I'm so sorry, you don't deserve to be treated like that. And she gave me a big hug. It felt so good because I was longing for belonging. I'm your daughter-in-law, I belong in this family, and I've never felt like that. I felt so much relief. I felt so much joy in my heart that I had a big sack that was taken off. Because I thought she hated me. But it only took me understanding my needs and her needs and having a proper dialogue with her. That was the most amazing and beautiful thing. And now she writes to me, she texts me all the time. If she wants, she even asks for advice from me. That means so much to me, seeing that. NVC means so much to me.
I'm so relieved when I hear her, how she incorporates it and uses it. So all the work I'm doing, it's a meaning for me. I'm just very happy and satisfied.
I've been reading about how needs are universal, right? And just that the brain accepted it. But I think today it was completely felt. I think I could feel the universal need when, sorry, I forgot your name, Selina, no? Kellen, you shared your story about your mother-in-law. It was a very universal need about wanting to be heard, understood, supported. I don't even know her. We are meeting for the first time. And yet, while she was getting emotional, I was getting emotional. I'm getting emotional right now. And that told me the beauty of how needs are universal.
My pocket money all goes away. My father gives me. Once there was this guy who called me from New Delhi.
All right. May I know what happened?
Come on, let's go. Why are you talking?
I would like to make a short interruption. You are very much at the moment in your head, both, talking about what happened, when, where, why. Try to be first empathic with yourself. When there's someone knocking, how do you feel then? And the second step then, when you're connected, would be, and what are they feeling? Because there's a need behind knocking at the door. Try to find out that and meet on the level of the needs. Very easy.
Let's give it a try.
Okay.
I give it a try. Again. You want freedom?
Yeah, that is exactly what I mean, thank you for saying that.
Now I realize, but I didn't realize it earlier, that I kept operating from power over position. I instructed people, I demanded, and when my demands were not met, whether it was work or at home, I got angry. And my anger was met with more anger from others, and it didn't get me what I was trying to reach or get. But I kept repeating this pattern time and again without learning anything from it. Yeah, it was like a loop going on and on and on. And being an intelligent woman, I kept doing it. And I think why?
The awareness that even if I would respond to a situation like a wolf, there's an awareness that I am a wolf now. That I am judging, that I am in the midst of just saying my judgment and diagnosis. My mind is telling me that yes, Tony, you are judging, you are diagnosing. That means it seems that I am able to handle it, my own wolf.
And I used to feel angry, and at the same time I would feel bad about feeling angry. So it was like a double situation. But when I learned NVC, I realized that anger is a very useful emotion because it signals your unmet needs. So anger is just a surface emotion, but below the anger there are underlying needs which are unmet.
Yes, I'm angry. I'm frustrated because I'm longing for respect. I'm longing for recognition, longing for understanding. So that's how it is now as far as I am going with living in NVC.
Same thing applies to my parent community. When they come to my office, and sometimes there has been an accident, a child has got into a conflict with another child, the parent walks in with a very angry body language, anger, and wants to blame the school, blame me, blame teachers. The minute I identify their feelings and their need, I see a total transformation in the person. They start nodding, their body language becomes more relaxed, and they agree with me. And the conversation actually moves forward to something more useful. So I see this total transformation in a couple of minutes because of the way probably I approached the situation.
I've been living with my children in the sense that I've always been the one controlling them on what to do in their daily lives. And so you find that I had no good relationship with my children. I was just doing it because I was brought up that way. And I thought it was the right way of handling kids. And when I came to NVC for the first time in Tanzania, I realized that all that was not the right way of handling children. And so when I went back to Kenya, I sat with my children together with my family as a whole, including my husband, and I shared with them all that I learned in Tanzania about NVC. And you find that the happiness that is in the family, I can't express it.
My daughter and I perhaps are the same strong personalities. And she would always say, Mom, you're never going to be happy with me, because I would keep finding issues like my value system as to you're not doing this, you're not doing this. So one day there were a lot of posts on the Ruhpolding NVC group, and I was reading all of them. And then in the evening, it was evening time, Sunday, I was at a grocery store. I take care of my grandson on Mondays, and I had decided I'm going to cook some food for my grandson, who was, I think, 8 months old at that time. So they were just introducing him to solids. So I'd ask them every time, is it okay if I add this to the meals? Is it okay if I add this to his food? So I write a question to my daughter Sunday, I don't know, 10, 11 a.m. I don't get a response, don't get a response, don't get a response. And my same instincts start flaring up that she never responds to me, you know, she doesn't think what I'm doing is important. And I wrote a message to her, and it'd be hard to believe, I have no clue how. It's probably some NVC intervention. I did not hit send. I went backspace, backspace, delete, 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 delete. And I'm like, how can I rephrase this? All this Anu that you've been reading on these NVC groups, and do you think you're really going to get an answer if you write to her in the same way? That, hey, I've been waiting for 5 hours for you to respond to me. Now I don't have enough time to cook. And I want to make sure when I come at 7 a.m. at your place, I've got food for Aiden and things like that. Anyhow, I deleted it. I said, okay, why am I upset? What's making me angry over here? And that's simple. I didn't have all the answers, but what I realized in that moment, that it was my need was more that I need to know if what I'm doing is a value add for my daughter or not. It wasn't about why she hasn't responded. And, you know, of course, there's also the need about my feeling happy about it. At that moment, it had gone out my head. So I rephrased my sentence and I said, you know, I would like to know if what I'm doing, cooking food or taking care of Aiden, is really of value add to you, or am I being bugging by asking you all these questions? And when I know this, I will feel more loved. It was just amazing. First time probably in my life, I got a response in 2 seconds flat from my daughter. No, Mom, we really love you. What you're doing really matters to us. I'm so sorry I didn't get to respond. And I'm like, hallelujah. I really wanted to share this on the NVC, the Ruhpolding group. I didn't, but it's like, okay, this thing works.
Before I learned NVC, I was like an hungry person, full of hungry. If someone can talk with me, even my children at home, if they talk with me, just a little thing, I used to beat them. So when I went back home after the first ITT, my family saw me that I have changed a lot. Even my children are saying, what happened to Mom? We never seen you like the way you are now. Then I told them that the training I went in July changed my life, changed my situation. That's why you look me the way I am now.
I think with my wife. I think that's where because I wasn't able to connect with myself as much earlier, I could sense a disconnect with her as well. What is that she's either needing from me, not expecting or demanding, that's too harsh a word, but I think needing from me as a friend, as a partner. In everyday scenarios, let's say if she comes home, very simply, I think if she comes home tired from work, and usually she travels a lot now, because I stay in the campus, so I don't travel to work, I will just walk a minute to my office, and she travels 2 hours, 2.5 hours every single, one way. So through the entire day she has traveled 5-6 hours, and she's come home, let's say at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the evening, and she's obviously frustrated. Now I can empathize with her, and she's saying something out of her anger. My first reaction used to be, but I told you not to do this. Like, I'd already warned you. So my rational thinking used to take over, and she used to, obviously her brain accepted, but her heart did not. I think now I realize the easiest way was, don't respond, just listen, just be there. I think a phrase I can take back with me is just being there. And I've never been there for her.
But you will.
So these are not tears of sadness, and these are tears of acceptance and even joy in the finding of the something so beautiful. So yeah.
And you cannot believe, once I started working with my daughter, one day she told me in August, Mama, you know, I thought you hate me so much. And I asked her why. She's like, when I made a mistake, you were so angry at me. You were so mad at me. Sometimes I didn't do the thing you were so mad at me. You didn't give me room to express myself. Now that you allow me to talk to you, I feel like you really love me. And when I used to leave and travel, she would say, bye, Mama, and then go inside. This time she came and gave me a hug and said, goodbye, Mama, I'm going to miss you very much. She calls herself my best friend now. We've developed a very beautiful relationship, and I'm so happy because I was going to lose her. 10 years old, she wasn't even coming to me for anything. So you just don't know what NVC means to me. It means so much.
Most of the participants are working in organizations in which they have contact to lots of children and parents and families. If they now include NVC in their work or in their curriculum, this might have a large effect, like a snowball. It gets more and more into our world. That's what I want.
And now I'm trying to bring this into the classroom. So there is NVC language happening with children. They are talking about empathy, they are talking about needs. And my hope and wish and desire is that with this learning, my whole school becomes a compassionate school, all stakeholders included. So that's what my dream is. And I'm going there one step at a time.
I'm very happy because this is one of my main intentions to approach multiplier, and she doesn't only take it personal, she takes it as a multiplier in the school, and all the parents get it, the teachers get it, the children, most of it, the children get it, and they are educated in another way, and the teachers are now asking for it. So it's nothing which she puts on the teachers, you change, they want it and they sense a change, and that's what I really like. It's from inside.
A lot of sessions have been done. Our teachers have been doing NVC with the communities around, with the paramedical staff around in the community, with the health workers around, with the government school teachers, the school which is next door in the neighborhood. They have also done sessions and shared NVC with the hospital staff in Mumbai, the nursing colleges.
And then I started talking to a couple other of my colleagues and said, you know, we really need to learn this, and we need to have bits and pieces of this that we need to add to our curriculum.
I'm assuring my country, Kenya, that I'm back with the bank to ensure that NVC is preached in each and every corner of Kenya. Thank you.
As a leader, I'm going to include a lot of components of NVC in my decision, in listening, in how I work and connect with people.
And the goal is to create a positive school culture where there is a conducive environment for students to thrive, so that teachers understand the students' needs and students are able to make requests.
As a priest's son, I would request to my dad to give me just one Sunday so that I can invite the NVCI to our church so that the members of our church could get NVC awareness.
Start translating some key material of NVC into Marathi. So that's something we'll definitely need to work with children and staff at Nareshwari.
I will go to be an example by living NVC language, by living NVC life.
Explore the possibility of introducing NVC to USC, but very concretely to talk about NVC in one of our radio programs, of which I do anchor every third or fourth Saturday of the month.
I'm going to use NVC in planning, evaluation, and to dream bigger in my organization, because I want to see a positive world where there is understanding and harmony.
And now imagine a world full of empathic people.
Best school for children.
Accompany children and equality. Let children grow up in security. Get rid of corporal punishment. Giving children a voice, surrounded by empathic adults who accompany them.